Hello, this is Coffee Break with Ninita, a daily guide of coping skills that gets us through by making us strong. The first thing we want to be aware when bad news happens to us, when we hear bad news, or when we have disappointments, is that feeling of losing control, of having no order in our lives, of being in a situation that prevents us from going on the way we have been going on up to this point. Remember, when we are in a good place, in other words, when we feel that we don't have to put extra effort if we are not feeling being in a good place, that gives us a sense of feeling whole, which is warm, happy, optimistic, loving, empowered, and we feel that we have control over all that is going on. We are optimistic. But when disappointments and bad news come along, that feeling whole disappears. And in its place, half appears. We feel hurt, we feel angry, we feel alone, lonely, we feel frustrated, and we have a lot of fears. Now, when we are half, the whole picture changes. And instead of being bright and confident, it becomes dark and scary. This happens to all people, depending on how many coping skills we have that prepare us in dealing with the shift from whole to half. Depending on that factor, when we get half, we react in a way that has as a goal to get out of that place, freeing ourselves from that place, which is exactly why we start blaming and fighting. We don't blame and fight because we hate the other person. We don't blame and fight because we are not sympathetic or loving. We hate, we fight, we argue because we want to free ourselves from that feeling. It is that example that we say that if someone is drowning in the middle of the ocean and you try to help that person, they might push you down, not because they want to kill you or drown you, but because as an instinct to free themselves from that terrible feeling of drowning. So, when bad news or disappointments come into the relationship, they can stay bad news and we react the way I described, or they can be perceived as challenges. What makes a situation a challenge is when we have already tools. And when we have tools, we don't feel the need to fall into that tunnel I referred on Monday of attacking, blaming, criticizing, because the tools helps us not to fall there into survival mode. Will bad news and disappointments impact us? Absolutely, because they carry along lack of order, chaos, which causes the primary source of feeling hurt, anger, loneliness, and frustration. So, are we going to behave when bad news, disappointing news happen and come? Absolutely. Please remember, we cannot control thoughts and feelings. We cannot control events that come to us, like the speed bumps we addressed last week. But what we can control is our actions and our behaviors. Knee-jerk reaction. We can do nothing because we feel drained and fall into the blaming, accusing, attacking in our attempt to free ourselves from that sticky situation. Or we can focus on discerning the impact of bad news upon us and the reaction we receive and we get from our loved ones. And that is what we are going to focus on Friday.
We thank you for listening to Coffee Break with Ninita. Our goal is to help our StayWHOLE community work through their challenges. Please join this cause by supporting us on Patreon. You can do that for the price of just 1 cup of coffee per month. Just click on the Patreon link in the podcast description below, or simply visit us at www.patreon.com/StayWHOLE. We appreciate you and hope we can help you stay whole.